I was in Hawaii this year and I went to a stable where all the horses lived on native pasture year round. The owner told me he had never had a case of founder, and it got me thinking about pastures.
Pastures are a natural food for horses. A pasture can be a variety of grasses, of native meadow grasses, which is ideal for horses. The countryside where you don't have to fertilize and you don't have changes in weather, that you have this consistent grass, consistent hay that you make. You don't have that rush of nutrients, the spike in the proteins and sugars that you do with hays or pasture that dies off in the winter. And that can be safer for horses because the fluctuations in what the grasses have can cause a lot of metabolic problems, can have some ill effect, especially on certain horses. But the pasture provides vitamin E. It provides things, enzymes that you don't get from dried feed. So it has its advantages sometimes. But it's a balancing act. Pastures that are native meadow grasses without rye are the safer pastures and hays to use. Pastures that are grown with chemical fertilizers, are cut for hay and then die back and then become fertilized again, they're worth a second thought, because ideally your horse needs the most natural species specific diet that they can have, and to err on the side of caution is always a good idea. Especially with senior and special needs horses, the change in diet, the change in food can have a dramatic effect on them. It needs to be gradual. So if you have a horse who has been on pasture and in a situation bringing them to hay instead, which is just the dried grass, you need to make sure that you're keeping moisture in their system, and hopefully you're adding the hay while they're on the pasture so that they're beginning to get a mix. They say, and I believe it, that it takes 10 days for the horse's digestive tract to adjust to new feeds. So the horse that's going from hay to pasture, that's very dramatic. The best thing you can do, especially with these seniors and special needs horses who can be compromised in many ways, is you take them out and let them graze 5-10 minutes. The next day let them graze 10-15 minutes. That may even be a bit quickly, but you take it slowly to where they're eating enough of the wet food, the succulent grass, that when you put them there, it's not going to be a shock to their system. And that's for every horse, but especially the ones we care for who have elderly digestive systems and perhaps have been compromised in other ways when they're special needs. So if you live where pasture is not an option, which at Dharma Horse is the truth, we're high desert, so we feed hay, we do not have pasture. You're going to consider that the horse is not getting the succulent, the vitamin E and the enzymes from fresh food. So often, especially the seniors and special needs, we're going to need to supplement that. And when I make the Dharma Horse supplement for everyone, I do add the vitamin E because everybody can use it. Hay only, and we feed no grains. Sometimes some seeds, and especially the flaxseed meal for them. But they're going to get everything from their species-specific hay. And if you're going to change a horse from, you're going to move to another part of the country, it pays to kind of look ahead, see if you can get analysis on the hay and things that you're going to go to, or really inspect the pastures, the meadows, hopefully, that your horse is going to be living in. Because as hard as it is to face the reality, the horse's digestive system is complex in the fact that, as you know, cannot vomit, and so anything that goes in has got to get all the way through. They have lots of trappy places, and the cecum, think about the sand, if the pasture is sandy, if where you're feeding them is sandy. Work to give them the best chance of healthy diet, healthy life,